Hey guys, in this video I'm going to try to explain what's the whole deal with Narmer, because I feel that a lot of people may be wondering like, what the hell's up with Ballas? Why did he change his name? Why is Narmer a thing? Like, what the hell? And it's because there's real world parallels, so I'm gonna explain it to you guys. So this is basically ancient Egyptian stuff. A very long time ago in ancient Egypt, where you could draw parallels to our star system in Warframe, there was two dominant fractions going on. There was Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, right? There's the Grenier, and then there's the Corpus. And then came along this guy, which I'm not gonna reveal to, I'm gonna reveal it to you. He was basically the Scorpion King. That's what you may modernly know him as, the Scorpion King. So he came along and he basically conquered, I think he was part of Upper Egypt, and then he conquered Lower Egypt, and he basically united them. You know, obviously through blood and conquest, but at the end of the day, everything was under his control. Sound familiar? So at first he was known as the Scorpion or something like that, or King Scorpion or the Scorpion King. But once he conquered Upper Egypt, he got renamed. I don't know if he renamed himself, but his name changed to Narmer, because he's no longer the old version of himself, which was just the king of Upper Egypt. He's now the overall ruler of Egypt, so he has to go by a new name. He reinvented himself, or got reinvented as overall ruler Narmer. This is why I believe Ballas did this. Like, you may say psychologically you're just trying to change, abandon your old life and become this new person. You're no longer a caterpillar, you're now a butterfly or something like that. Yeah, but it's the same thing. That's the same thing that transpired. This was also the first time, or at least the first known time in Egyptian history, where one person had wore the crown of both Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt at the same time. So they had like two little silly Egyptian type of hats, not to sound disrespectful, but there was two different types of hats, but then they got fused together into one type of hat, and that was the new crown of just Egypt. Like, it's not just Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt anymore, now it's just Egypt. And this is kind of similar. Like, Ballas is wearing a silly looking, kind of like Egyptian looking crown, but this isn't Egypt. Like, obviously Warframe isn't Egypt, it's its own thing, but the parallels are there where he's wearing the similar looking thing, but Warframe themed. Just to make some little notes about my Man in the Wall video, there's, from this timeline in ancient Egypt, of the Scorpion King in particular, of Narmer, before he was Narmer, there is a depiction of a stalk and a snake, and that basically is supposed to translate to something like order over chaos. And I don't know if DE intentionally meant to put this in here. I don't know if they researched that much, but the parallels are there if it's intentional or not, which goes along with my whole theory of the fact that what the Man in the Wall said may be a prophecy, which is what I was implying in that video. And this order over chaos was actually part of the prophecy. It may be a stretch and you may think I'm reaching here, but I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. That's why I'm just presenting it to you guys. So I probably should have said this before, but I believe before Upper Egypt was a thing, there was three major cities, and then somebody came along and conquered them, and then they became the overall ruler of them, and that made Upper Egypt, unless I'm mistaken, and for some reason my history is jumbled in my mind, but I believe that's what happened. And then that person was the Scorpion King. They became the overall ruler of Upper Egypt. And in that moment, obviously, Upper Egypt came into being. What does this have anything to do with anything? I don't know, it might be a stretch again, but perhaps the three cities may be like Fortuna, Cetus, and maybe the sentient place, maybe the sentient overall mothership or whatever the hell. And that together made their version of basically Upper Egypt, which is supposed to be the rich colony. So it would be the Corpus, because once you get your foothold in Fortuna, you kind of got your foothold into the Corpus, and then from then on they went to conquer Lower Egypt, which would then perhaps be the Grenier, if this is anywhere near making sense. And in that moment of when this conquering of these 3 places to make Upper Egypt came into being, that's when the carving was made of order over chaos. So that's why I'm saying this may have been intentional. And I already know what some people in the comments may be trying to say. It's like the timelines are a little bit too long for a normal human to have lived this long, to both be Narmer and the Scorpion King. But you're forgetting what the ancient Egyptian lore and mythology and history says, which is that their kings lived a really fucking long time because they were gods. And just like the Oregon, you know, they live a long time. So that's why I'm saying, by this story wise, this looks like what it is, because Ballas isn't following in the footsteps of this other person. He's doing both these things at once, and that's kind of like what the history is saying, without our interpretation interrupting it. If you want a few more little speculations and comparisons, Ballas is basically like a scorpion if you think about it. Like, he emulates our idea of what a scorpion is perfectly. Cause like, think about it. First, let's go with his scepter or his rod. It kind of looks like a scorpion tail. Like, I don't know how else you would make that into a weapon unless it looks exactly identical to it. That's 1. 2 is he betrayed original Margolis by not helping her. He betrayed her. Personally, if that was my woman and it's like she's being put to death, I would move earth, mountain, sea, and sky to fucking try to save her or go down with her. I would not let my significant other die without me lifting a finger. Are you crazy? There's no way in hell I would be able to sit by. But he betrayed her by like not taking action or doing anything to help her. First betrayal. Second betrayal, he got pissed off that they killed Margolis, so then he betrayed the Oregon. Second betrayal. Third betrayal, he betrayed basically Lotus, because he took her like he was going to like be like they're gonna start a relationship or something, but then he's like just draining her power and trying to gain his own control over the sentients. Fourth betrayal, he betrayed the sentients by like taking power and trying to control them. He's a betrayer. That's what he is. We're not the betrayer. He's the betrayer. He's a fucking scorpion. So true, all of this may just be speculation and not actually reality. Like, perhaps DE didn't plan any of this and it's just a coincidence. Yes, perhaps. But let me just give you the icing on the cake for fun, because the similarities here are crazy. It's even more astonishing if this is an accident. DE didn't plan any of this. The coincidence would just be, it's just like, let me just explain. Because not only does that other stuff that I said earlier align with Ballas's life trajectory during the New War, but his death is also very similar. So basically what happened to Pharaoh Narmer is his own war dogs turned on him. So the war dogs of the Oregon, the Tenno, turned on Ballas, just like Pharaoh Narmer's war dogs turned on him. And then after the war dogs turned on him, a hippopotamus finished them off, right? So in ancient Egyptian, what the hippopotamus resembles is basically fertility, mothership. So the mother killed Pharaoh Narmer, right? The lotus finished off Ballas. The Tenno attacked him, and the lotus finished him off. King Narmer, the dogs attacked him, and the hippopotamus finished him off. What are the odds of that happening? What are the odds of this being a coincidence? That's why I thought perhaps maybe DE planned all this. But if not, it's hilarious. It's a hilarious coincidence from my point of view. Like, the odds of this stuff matching so closely, metaphorically anyway. Anyway, so what do you guys think? That's all I got. So I'll see you guys next time.